All right, welcome everyone to our Vamos info session for March 1st. Welcome to March. Yeah, as I mentioned, please feel free to go ahead and introduce yourselves in the chat, who you are, where you're joining from, and what your organization is. My name is Lori Kamala. I am the program director here at Code the Dream. We are the organization that has built Vamos, and I am joined by Cody. Cody, you want to introduce yourself as well?
Hey all, I'm Cody Hill. I work with Code the Dream and partnerships. So I work with a lot of the organizations that use Vamos and the other kind of civic-minded apps that Code the Dream builds. So great to meet you all.
Great, awesome. So what we're going to do today is get a little overview and tour of Vamos, and then we are going to you'll get the full demo, and we'll have plenty of time for questions as well. Okay, I'm just gonna dive right in here. Okay, as I mentioned, we'll have introductions and overview. We'll get the full tour of both mobile and desktop apps. Plenty of time for questions. Just a minute about who Code the Dream is. We are a tech organization based in North Carolina that we work nationwide. And our mission is to create opportunity that changes lives, build tech that benefits our communities, and support the diversity that drives a more just and innovative world. The way this plays out is that we have our CTD Learns program, which is a completely free training program for software development for people who are underrepresented in tech. And then we also have CTD Labs, which is our in-house software development shop where we actually get to build really cool apps that help social justice organizations better do their work more effectively and efficiently, like Vamos. We're excited to share that with you today. But we build lots of products, not just Vamos as well. So our Vamos team is the largest one at Code the Dream. We do have a very full team, including several individuals who grew up in farm worker families themselves, which is a really cool addition to our team. This just gives you sort of a picture of who is on our team. We have both back end and front end staff and apprentices who work on this really awesome product. And you'll get to hear from Cruz and Andrea in a little bit. I just wanted to give you a little bit of background about myself. Again, I'm Lori, I'm program director at Code the Dream, and I'm really passionate about this project in particular because I have a background working in farm worker justice for many years. In North Carolina, I worked in farm worker advocacy. I went on many rounds of outreach, and so this is very close to my heart. When I started working with Vamos and at Code the Dream and kind of got reconnected with a lot of the farm worker organizations I used to work with in my earlier career, I was in many ways amazed, and in other ways not so amazed, at how little change there had been in terms of farm worker outreach and the tools that we're using, with the exception of Google Maps. I think that was the big innovation. But other than that, I think it's a lot of the same. And as you all well know, just some really amazing program staff that keep all this incredible information in all those directions in their heads. And so I was so excited to get involved with Vamos and really start building tools that can make this work much easier and more effective using the tech that we now have available. So what is Vamos Outreach? Vamos is a tool for farm worker outreach staff to plan, navigate to, conduct, and report on visits to migrant and seasonal farm workers. And you'll get to see all the different ways we can do that. And we are building in new features all the time, but that is the basics. It really helps you to plan. It helps you when you're actually on outreach, and then it makes the reporting super easy as well. We're going to jump right into a demo. There's two parts, of course, the web app and the mobile app. The mobile app is maybe kind of looks cooler and is really the really innovative to be able to imagine carrying your phone out to camps and having all the information be able to pull up right there on your phone, which is absolutely amazing. But the web app is sort of where it all starts, because that's where you begin to plan your outreach. And Cruz, who is our senior backend developer on Vamos, is going to take us through this little tour. All right.
Hello everyone, I'm Cruz Nunez.
Younger
I'm the senior backend developer on Vamos, and I'm going to show you around the desktop app today. You will mainly use the desktop app for planning your outreach, while you will primarily use the mobile app while out in the field logging visits. So when we log into Vamos at app.vamosoutreach.org, you'll see at the top right that we are logged in as a manager for the Vamos demo organization. You only have access to the data in your organization, and the level of access depends on the account type that you have. As a manager, you have full control. There are also other levels like planner and user, which give you different permissions. Okay, so in Vamos, we call labor camps sites. And we can see these sites on this page as cards, but we can also see them as a table. And of course, every site has a location, and these locations can be plotted on a map. So this is the map view. So in all of these pages, you can search for sites, and you can use the simple search bar here, which will find a site by name, by group, description, street address, and things like that. But you can also make some more advanced searches and search for all kinds of data points, like find all sites with high priority. And these priorities are given to sites by you, and what you decide is a high priority site or not. What city they're in. Does this site have H2A workers present at them? Will there be workers at this site within, the next month? So we have a very powerful search feature, but for right now, I'm just going to search for the site with the name Hewitt. So I do get one site, and it's a little zoomed in. Let me zoom out a bit. You can see that this site is in Mill Spring. Now I can open up the card for this site on the map, and I can see even more information about a site if I click this View Details button. Now this is the site details page, where you can see all the information you need to know about a site, including if you need to know what this site looks like. You can add pictures here. You can also see all the information on this site. To the right of the pictures, there's a section in here where you can see which groups this site is associated with. And groups in Vamos are just a collection of sites that is made by you with whatever criteria that you decide. You can make a group called Camps Near Our Office or Cruises Follow-Up Camps. It's really up to you. So here, this site only belongs to the 2023 outreach group. And if we go below here, we see the contact section. Here we see we have one contact, John Hewitt. They are a grower for this site. And then if we click on this contact, here we can see more details about this specific contact, what's their phone number, what company they're with, what type of contact they are, any farms that they're associated with. Right now they're only associated to this one farm we were already looking at, Hewitt Farm in Mill Springs, North Carolina, and it's a high priority site for us. Now if we go back to the site and we click on these icons at the top, instead of viewing the site details in this way, we can also view the site as it appears on a map. And if we want to move the site around, like let's say I don't like that this site is right on top of this other building and it's actually over here, this rectangle right here, I can click on the marker, drag it around, and let go. Now the app will ask if you are sure that you want to make this update. Do you really want to move this pin? I hit OK, and the information saves. Great. Now that we've seen that, we can move on to visits and notes. This is really the heart of the Vamos application. When you go on outreach, this is where you log what happens. Here you can see that there have been 3 visits from the same person, Joanna, once in May, one in June, one in August. We can click on one of those visits to see more information about that visit. Here, Joanna was just following up. They helped 2 people. There were a total of 4 workers here. Joanna was also with Greg, and they donated 4 hygiene kits to the workers. And the workers also had concerns about the plumbing in their housing. So that's a good thing to note. Now, we know each group tracks their own set of information when they go on outreach, so organizations can add any fields that they want through custom fields. You can also use the donations field to track donations of items, workers' rights materials, etc. All of this information can be exported for tracking purposes later in the exports drop down at the top of the nav bar. Okay, now that we've seen visits, we can look at notes. Notes are used to indicate problems in camps or things needing a follow-up, and you can indicate the priority level for these notes. For example, in this site, Hewitt Farms, we see here that on September 4th, an outreach worker reported that they had a high priority issue with pesticide exposure and the clinic needed to be sent. Great way to track that information. And as you can guess, the color on the left-hand side is what indicates the priority, and you can see these colors on the map as well. That's why this site appears as red on the map. And so if we go back to see all the sites in the map view, we'll see sites show up in many colors, red, yellow, green. So we can guess that the sites in red need some more attention. The ones in yellow maybe a slightly less attention, and the ones in green are okay, that we don't need to do any further checkups on them. Okay, now for the best part. What if we want to actually plan an outreach? How would you do that? In Vamos, you can do that with the routes feature. If we go to the top of the navigation, click on routes, we can start a new route and say, we can call it the December 2022 outreach. All right, so if I want to look at some high priority sites that are concerning, we could use the advanced search here for high priority sites. Hit search. Now we just get just the red ones, and if I'm going to be in the, I don't know, Boone area, seems like there's a lot of concerning sites over here. I can add them to the route with this map that we see here. And as we see, as I open up the little pop-up window and click add to route, they appear over here on the right side as I'm building my route. Now, once you have all the sites that you want in your route, you can then see the trip details of that route with path mode. So based on the order that we've given Vamos, this is the path that it looks like we would take. But if we're not happy with this order, we can move things around and the map will update. For example, if I want to start from this 4th position and then go 1, 2, 3, and I can just move 4 to the top, wait a second, and then the route will update. And I also get an estimate of how far these sites are from each other and how long it will take to drive from all the locations. Now, if we scroll to the bottom here, we can also see turn-by-turn directions as well at the bottom of this page. If you need to print these directions out, you can do that as well. Oh, one more thing is that you can also open this route up in Google Maps. And if you want Google Maps to give you directions, you can do that as well through Vamos. And finally, just a reminder, you can use the export functions that we have in Vamos for any of your reporting needs whenever you need to write grants or any other needs that you may have. And yes, thank you for checking out Vamos. This was the Vamos web app at app.vamosoutreach.org.
Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. That was Cruz, our lead backend developer, with sharing his video recorded tour of Vamos. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. Please make a list of all your questions. We're going to see a much shorter kind of demo now of the mobile app, and then we will be able to talk and discuss more to get all your questions answered. Andrea Hernandez Guzman and Brian Espinosa are our lead React developers who worked on the mobile app. And so we're now going to see what Andrea has to tell us about the mobile app.
When you first log into the mobile app, you will see a list of sites that populate based on your location. At the bottom menu, you have easy access to your sites, visits, notes, groups, and routes. But this sites page is your home page, and it's where you'll access the site search. You can also view these sites on a map. You can change which sites you are viewing by doing a search. At the top, there's a search bar that you can press to open the search filters. We'll be doing a search by name, county, and radius. Let's take a look at an individual site. This is where you'll view the site details. And here you can see previous photos you've taken or uploaded of the site, or take a new photo of the site right from the app. You can view which groups this site belongs to, or add it to a new group. If you're out on outreach and realize that the map has the site in the wrong location, you can also drag the map marker to the correct location, and the latitude and longitude will update without changing the actual address. You can also see which contacts are associated with this site, and you can see past visits and notes made for this site. Say you are out on outreach and ready to add details of your visit. We can press on the plus icon to add a new visit and fill it out with all the details. In the desktop app, you can add custom fields for your organization, and all those will show up here as well. And if you encounter an issue you want to make a note of, here's where you do that. Similar to the visits, we can press on the plus icon to add a new note. By assigning the note a priority level, Vamos color codes it, so you can view those priorities directly on the map. If you want to create a site in the field, here's how you do that. Going back to the sites page and pressing on the plus icon to add a new site. All information syncs up in real time with the web app, so you never have to worry about losing information. Next, let's check out routes. This is one of the main ways you'll be using Vamos in the field. Once you create a route on the desktop app, you can then use it to navigate to your camps in the mobile app. We just click on routes at the bottom, and you can see a list of your organization's created routes. Once you choose which route you want to take, you press it, and you can see a list of the sites in the route. You can click on each site to get to the site detail page to enter your visits. You can also press on the Open in Maps button to view the whole route in Google Maps. So that's pretty great.
All right. That was Andrea, our lead front-end React developer, who has built a lot of that front end and overseen the creation of that of the app. So just to recap, the way that we envision, or the way that most organizations use a workflow for their work in Vamos, is your very first step would be preparing to use Vamos by formatting and importing all of your data into the app. Of course, we don't pre-populate it for you because each organization has its own list of sites and contacts and information that you would want to access in there. You would also be able to assign the users that you want for your user accounts. And then you can also create whatever custom fields you want to be able to, to collect the information you want to use within your own organization to track. When you're actually using Vamos, you would use the web app to prioritize and plan which camps you want to visit, create routes, and then you'd be using the mobile app when you're actually conducting outreach and logging your visits and notes. And then Vamos makes reporting really easy. At the click of a button, you can just export whatever data you need. And we've actually, since the time that this video was made, there's actually enhanced reporting functionality as well. So I think now we want to just open it up to questions. Yeah, so what questions do folks have? Feel free to take yourselves off mute and just let us know what questions you have about the app. I'd love to know if this looks like something that would be useful for your organizations, how it compares with what you're using now.
Yeah.
I have a question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, you can go first.
Oh, okay, thank you. My question is, can you use this app for other parts or other departments of outreach? Like I work for a clinic, so we're trying to do both the community health workers, but involve them with our clinic to go check on patients and make sure they're okay. Can we do something like that and use it both ways for our migrant program and our clinic?
Absolutely. Yeah, the contract that you get for the use of the software is for your organization, and you can use it however you want. We have some health clinics using Vamos. The one thing that I will note is that as I'm sure you know, it's not like electronic health records. Obviously, it's not for storing patient information, of course. But yeah, it can definitely be used in different parts of the organization. It can be used for mapping, tracking, logging visits. Yeah, we actually, I've got ideas for how Vamos can be used in such a wide variety of scenarios. I think that farm worker outreach is very parallel in a lot of ways to work with homeless communities or communities that are facing homelessness. And so I have dreams that someday this will be able to be, Vamos will be able to be used in those contexts as well. But yeah, for sure. Ed, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had two questions. My first question is this nationwide? Can anybody from any state use it?
Absolutely. We have, I don't even know, we probably have people in 10 different states right now using it, maybe more.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm from New Jersey, and
Yep.
yeah, so I was like wondering if this was something that can be used in any state. And my
Put in
second,
whatever data that you want. So every organization, you manage your own data. So wherever your outreach work is happening, that's what you would put in, and the mapping would work just fine anywhere.
Mhm.
and my second question, is there like is there a price for the app? I mean, for the yeah.
Yes, there is. And that, of course, that's a hard question, right? It's a very expensive app to maintain. It's very resource intensive. We have a very large team that's working on this app. So there is a cost. We really want to get this in the hands of everyone who can use it. So we have established a sliding scale cost so that small organizations can afford it, as well as larger organizations with larger budgets. So I don't know if Cody, if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So like Lori mentioned, yeah, there's kind of a sliding scale, kind of based on how big your organization is, also based on how many sites that you have. We know that we work mostly with nonprofits. So we do have what are called mini grants available, where we are able to offer a discount of, I think it's close to like 90% off for your first year. And we can send you information about that if you want to fill out and you would qualify for the mini grant, meaning you're a nonprofit under a certain size. And yeah, we're willing to work with, most organizations that need to use it. we'll send you a form to fill out and just enter your information on like size of your outreach team, about how many users you would have, and we'll send you back pricing. Pricing is usually anywhere from $1,000 up to $4,000 or $5,000 per year for much larger organizations. So yeah, we'll work with you on that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we really believe in this app and believe that it's a really great product, and we want organizations to be able to use it and be able to access it. So even though it's very expensive and we're funded by grants as well, we want to make it work. So we have established this sliding scale so that, and the mini grants, thanks for pointing that out, Cody. We do have mini grants that that covers almost the complete cost. So
yeah. And the other thing that might not have been mentioned as much is that one of the main purposes is to like save time so that you can spend more time, you know, serving your communities, serving the farm workers that you do outreach to. So we know that a lot of your time is probably taken up on the reporting and having to keep records and having to update Excel sheets and having to look back and say, oh, well, you know, what did they report last year and the year before? So this is kind of building like one database where you can look at all the different visits throughout the years and moving forward. And you can have that all there with you at all times and be able to see how things progress throughout different growing seasons or different years, medical seasons, however you want to view it. The site, you know, you're able to create all the different sites, and those can be used for, I mean, I spoke with a human trafficking org. It's fighting against that earlier this week. So anyone who needs to be in touch with, who needs to do outreach to like rural communities, underserved communities, this app can be used for pretty much any org that does stuff like that.
Other questions?
I do. How old is the app? How long have you guys been offering it to you said it was 10 states?
I have to double check. I think it's at least 10 states. We started in a pilot project here in North Carolina, partnering directly with one organization, and a lot of it was developed in partnership with that specific org. And that was 4 years ago, more than 5 years ago now, I guess. And then we sort of, took a couple years in development. And then about 2 years ago, I think is when we really started to expand. And then, last year, now it's just people are finding out about it, and it's, the only thing like this that's out there. So there's definitely a lot of interest, but yeah, about 5 years, I guess, depending on how you count.
And what complications have you guys figured out from using the app? Like any complaints about it?
Sure. Well, the first year was rocky, I'm not gonna lie, for sure, but since then it's been smooth sailing pretty much. We've got a really good team. I will say the one thing, and I'm sure this is a question that's going to come up too, that has proven so much more difficult than we ever anticipated, was making the app available completely offline. So we are still in that process. So we thought that we were going to have that done 2 years ago, to be honest. Last year we thought we were going to have it done too. This year we're very close, but we keep finding bugs with making it completely available offline. So that, I think, has been one complaint. Obviously, we know it's farm workers live in rural areas. You've got to have access to this thing where there's no cell signal, and that we will soon, but that has proven to be a really big challenge. Every time we think we've got it, there's a new bug that pops up. So I would say that's been our biggest challenge. And what else? Occasionally it's a software like any other. There are bugs that come up. We have a way for you to report bugs to us. There's a little form that we have for you to fill out, and we try to get on those just as soon as possible. And like I said, we do have a large team that's working on it, so we're able to resolve things, really quickly. Yeah. So for the offline question, Right now, it's still not fully functional offline. Once we take care of those last bugs, we're still hoping to have it this season be available offline. And what that will look like is just basically ensuring that your data is, anything that you enter in offline will be stored and available online. So right now, what we have a lot of groups doing is they're still sometimes taking notes, in on paper or whatever, and then as soon as they get signal, then they'll fill it in. It's still spotty. Sometimes it will capture some stuff, but it's that offline piece is not reliable. So I will say that's the biggest challenge right now. But we're still hopeful, or they've been working so hard on it, and we're hopeful that that'll come through soon.
And is there a way to pull like a report from the
Yeah.
site?
Absolutely. I can share my screen unless you want to, Cody. I can. Yeah,
I don't have it pulled up right now.
I've got it. All right. Can you all see that? Sorry, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay, yeah. So reports are really easy to pull up. And I will say, this is what Vamos looks like right now. We are in the middle of a big design overhaul, so it's gonna look even nicer in a few months. But we'll probably be waiting until the end of the season to convert everything so that it doesn't transfer over in the middle of the summer. But exports is right here, and basically, by generating, all you have to do is click on one button, visits, for example, and it pulls up. Oops, see, pulled up on my other screen. It pulls up all of your data from all of your outreach in one click. Another thing that's newer since that demo was created, that Cruise did, this is a very cool newer feature, is that you can actually get a lot more granular with your reporting now. So so we have a feature now called Seasons. Very easy to add a new season. You just create the name. The start date can be any start date that you want to capture information between, and then you can export the data from that particular season, and it will export. And not only will it export all your visit details, but it will also export a summary that says this is how many locations you visited, this is how many counties you visited, and it pulls it all up. Just again with the drop of a hat. It'll take a minute, but yeah, it pulls it all up immediately, and so. Yep, it's now I have to go find it on my computer where it is, but it already downloaded everything. So yeah, it's super fast and easy for reporting. Does that get at what you were looking for, Blanca?
Yes, it's actually more detailed than I thought. So yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, and also, I think they mentioned it in the video, but just to reiterate that different organizations track different things. So some organizations track, informational pamphlets that they're handing out, or the amount of donated items that they're handing out, or different types of reporting, reporting on violations that are happening at different campsites. And so we have custom fields, so you can create, if there's something unique to your organization that you have to track, that you want to have in a report, you can create that custom field. And so that for each visit you make, you can say, okay, we handed out X amount of items, or we, there's a unique type of violation that we want to report on. So we're able to do that as well.
Yeah, so here's an example of some, so these that are above, all of these are kind of our default fields that are just in every Vamos organization. And then custom fields is what you create for your own organization. You can create custom fields for visits, for site information, and also for contacts. There's yes, this is an example. Oh, another thing that is new since that video was created is that this is something that was a direct request from current Vamos users. Just, oh, yeah. Let me go back. It's all right. Yes, I know. I didn't fill out the date. Is icons. That's a really cool new feature that we have. Every camp can be assigned an icon that will show up on the map. So let's see. That was a cow to represent a dairy. We have lots of organizations that are tracking dairy workers. Let's see. You can see some of these. So yeah, you can see like here's a red dairy. So right on the map, it indicates, oh, that's a dairy that's a high priority. Let's see. There's here's the list. Yeah, here's our list of icons. So family, H2A, non-seasonal, seasonal, worksite, clinic. So you can assign these icons to your sites and they will show up on the map like that. So. Other questions?
Yes, I have a question. So we have an Excel spreadsheet that has all of the sites we plan to visit in 2024. Is there an easier way than having to go in and manually type it that I can upload those to Vamos?
Absolutely. Great question. Oh, and I do want to point out, another new feature we have. This will be useful for you, Deanna, since you all are already in Vamos. There is a help page now that will direct you to our Vamos user guide and the data imports guide, as well as, and we're continuing to populate this Vamos training site. But there's a few videos on there right now. But yes, the way that you would do that is through the admin to imports. And when you click on new import, this gives you a site importer template. And so you will just, it's a spreadsheet. And so you'll just formulate your data into this template and then you upload it. And there's a fair amount of instructions on, what each field is labeled and things like that. But you can also, what I would recommend is if you already have, let's see. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's definitely the best way to do it. Other questions?
I'm going to put a link in the chat to a form to fill out, which is the interest form here. In the questions and comments section at the bottom, if you're interested in the mini grant, feel free to write, interested in mini grant or any other comments you have about your organization. It's a quick form, so feel free to fill that out, and we'll get back to you with pricing and any other questions that you have as well. We can send over like a proposal, but it's basically based on how big your organization is and how many sites you have and all that.
You can also get information from the Vamos website.
Mm-hmm.
There is a link to the more information about the mini grants.
Lori, Cody, thank you for the presentation. I do want to say I have a couple questions, and I apologize if you already answered them. I had a call at the very beginning of the presentation, so I may have missed some of the information. But my first question is, the data set that is in our particular Vamos app is limited to what we put in there, right? So there's no outside data coming in. It's whatever we put in there.
Correct. It's only
Okay.
what you put in there. Yes.
In
And
terms
no
of
one
like
else-
in terms of privacy, that's not shared. There's nothing in that. That's all contained within our accounts or whatever.
That's correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then so for the application itself, how does the user count work? I know there's different levels of users, but is there like a limit? Does each person get theirs? Does a group share? How does that work?
Cody, do you want to talk about user numbers?
Yeah, sorry, reiterate that one more time. I was briefly distracted reading something else. What was the question again?
About how many user accounts each organization gets.
Yeah. So right now up to I would say up to 10 is kind of the cap before you would have to pay additional for it. But yeah, up to 10 accounts. And then kind of related to the other question about data sharing. So we know that some organizations like work together on there may be 2 different nonprofits that do outreach to similar sites. You are able to like share the account and so if like 2 organizations that are fine with each other using their data and being able to update each other's sites, if you're in that situation where you want to do that, we can have like one account that 2 organizations are under. That's no problem. It's doesn't work for everyone, but that is a possibility. We don't have the ability to link like 2 separate accounts so that if one team is doing something, then the other account organization will get it updated. But if there are 2 organizations that are fine with sharing one account, that is available as well.
Okay, yeah, and then the last question I had was really just more on the software support, and I think Laura, you might have mentioned there's a new page that has some of the training and some of that information. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm here and can answer myself, Cody, other members of the team. Basically what we try to do is give you some resources from the website that should talk you through getting set up. And then we're here for additional questions. If your particular organization needs, a custom training, we can try to schedule that. It's pretty tough. We're pretty slammed, but we can definitely try. And there's, I try to put stuff on the website as much as possible. There are some training videos from the most common questions, kind of the web app basics, how to build a route, using the mobile app. It is in my plans to build out a lot more training videos. Right now it's pretty limited. But yeah, the user guide is quite good. It has not been updated since last year. Again, it's just a capacity issue. Everything is the same, except there's more, there's more features now. So that stuff hasn't changed, but we have not had the capacity to update it. Does that help?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. And then not so much a question. Well, I guess it was a question. I was going to ask about the offline mode, but you kind of mentioned that's something you guys are working on. I will just say as a comment, that's something that we're incredibly interested in as well. Where I'm out in Nebraska, and Nebraska is very remote, most of it. So we find ourselves needing offline capabilities more often than not. So.
Absolutely. We're so close. We're so close and we're hoping to try out a new build next week of our offline mode to see how it's doing. But yeah, it's very close.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Other questions? All right. Well, with that, I think we'll close out. Cody shared actually, hang on, let me share one more thing. Let's see. Okay. I think it's the next slide. Let's see. Go. Yeah. So just, yeah, again, these are, I think y'all have this mostly in terms of a general overview. You can go to codethedream.org/vamos and get a lot of those links. If you are ready to, sign up all the way, go ahead. You can fill out this partner registration form. There's an interest form is the one that Cody shared in the chat. which just we can put together a proposal for your group. And then, yeah, this is also a link for the spreadsheet template if you wanted to go ahead and start formatting your data. I think that's it. Just to mention, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're an organization that has more than just Vamos. We do have also a text messaging, a very affordable text messaging app that works really well. That's like really simple and lightweight in case y'all ever needed text messaging. Upstate is a product that Cody works on a ton. If you're in North Carolina, but that's the only, well, Upstate and Conectate Carolina are both North Carolina specific, but Oye, Vamos, and many of our other apps are nationwide. So yeah. Conectate Carolina is really cool. It's a product of Student Action with Farm Workers here in North Carolina, but we would certainly be interested in partnering with other orgs to build something like that out in other states. It's specifically for farm workers with the resources that are geolocated so that folks can find resources in their area, as well as receive emergency notifications about hurricanes or, anything else like that. And that's it. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. I'll send an email out to everyone later today with links, but feel free to fill out the interest form in the chat as well. And yeah, great to meet everyone.
Thank you.